Hi there, just read this disclaimer please. Alright guys, how's it going? So as you can see by the title of the video, I'm pondering Fundsmith and kind of looking to complicate my life, I suppose. But I was pondering it because it does have quite high charges at 0.95%. But it's also really has quite a low number of holdings at 29. So I'm thinking to myself, would it be really that difficult to just kind of replicate, or, well, approximate, I suppose. It would never obviously be perfect. Approximate Fundsmith myself, instead of buying the fund and paying 0.95%. So I've been doing a little bit of work just looking into how I could do it. It didn't take me long. I did a bit of searching online, and I found this tweet from this chappie. I don't know who it is. And it's kind of lists out all of the holdings with the kind of yellow cells are previous holdings that have been sold. I mean, to be honest, this is only 27 holdings, and it says here that there's 29. It says it on Fundsmith's website as well. So there is 2 missing, so it's not that easy to find the holdings. But I mean, those 2 extra, they could just be ones that they haven't declared yet, because each month. Because what I'm thinking is, so you can go to Hargreaves Lansdown and you can get the kind of weightings of the top 10 here. And then if you go to Fundsmith's website, each month, you go to the fact sheet, each month they have a few sentences here, portfolio comment for March 22. And if there's an outright sale, or if there's a purchase of, or they've reached their weighting, their target weighting of a new holding, they'll tell you in this little well, it's like what, a couple of sentences each month. So once you, because look, even on their own website they don't give you the percentages, look, but obviously Hargreaves Lansdown finds out somehow, and they get the percentages of the top 10. So once you've got started, all I have to do is just check each month what they've done, and then replicate it. But obviously, one thing that, well, sorry, let's just go through my list. So, using interactive brokers is how I would possibly do it, because they seem to be the one that has low fees for buying and selling funds, low fees for currency transfers, conversions, and also they seem to have a lot of different markets as well. But obviously everything will be an estimate, because all the only information I've really found so far is the top 10 weightings. And so as for the other 17 or 19 holdings, I kind of just left to guesswork as to what weighting I would give them. So what I've done is I've put them in my Google Sheet spreadsheet here, written them all down from that tweet. And so what I've done is I've used the Hargreaves Lansdown weightings for the top 10 there, and then for the rest I've just evenly distributed them. So I mean, I guess what could happen is, if at some point any of these that aren't in the top 10 at the moment do get into the top 10, then they would then show up in this page, wouldn't they? So I could then correct. So gradually, very gradually, obviously there'll be some stocks that just forever stay at the lower, the outside the top 10, but for each time any one of them does go in the top 10, I can kind of course correct and get the weighting the same if I want to. You know, I don't have to do it perfectly, do I? I can just let the winners run and the losers lose, can't I, if I want to? So I'm thinking, with the low fees that interactive brokers have, I could save quite a bit of money. I mean, that's indicated here, because if you look at, in terms of the dividend, Fundsmith is such a growth-oriented one. It's got a 0.27% yield if you look at the last two dividend payments. But by replicating their portfolio like this, you can see the yield goes up to 1.19%, a lot higher. Obviously, most of that is just the 0.95% charges or fees. The fees, 0.95%. In fact, that pretty much works out perfectly, doesn't it? 1.19 minus 0.95 is, what, 0.24, something like that, %? Which is not far off the 0.27 I've got there. Anyway, but obviously there'll be costs as well, you know, building this portfolio. I'll skip ahead because you've seen this already, but there's lots of things I need to learn. Like, for instance, well, I'll start. The first one is I know there's something happens with US dividends, for instance. I think it's a 15% tax at source, something like that. But I haven't worked all that out yet. So what I've done here is I've just taken 15% off the expected return. And you'll notice I've also put 16 grand in there because I want to keep this in the ISA, because the Fundsmith currently is in the ISA, in a different ISA. So I'm thinking if I use this year's ISA limit for Interactive Broker, I could put 16 grand in there. Obviously 4 grand is my LISA, so I can't use the full 20 grand. So I mean, that gives me a chance to run the two portfolio. I can run this portfolio and also keep some of the money in Fundsmith as well, so I can keep an eye on both of them. So one of the reasons is I don't know. I've kind of said this already, but I don't know. It might be fun, and it'll certainly teach me new things about owning foreign stocks and stuff. Oh yeah, and then they've written here it also could be a negative, because what if I am tempted to veer away from just strictly following Fundsmith? Because I mean, for instance, I'm already thinking to myself, oh, I don't like owning Facebook. And then I'm also thinking to myself, oh, I'd quite like to own Apple. I'm already thinking about veering away and making my own choices, which a long time ago I learned that making my own choices wasn't a good idea. So that could be a reason not to do it. Oh yeah, some things I wasn't sure about Interactive Broker. 16k a year, it costs £36 a year, but of that £36, or sorry, £3 a month, of that £3 a month, any trading fees that you incur are taken out of that. So you'd have to do if you did trades above £3, you'd subtract £3 from the cost of those trades. So obviously this £3 a month only really applies if I don't really do any trading in that particular month, which should happen quite a lot actually, because one of the things Fundsmith does is it doesn't trade a lot. So I don't know, maybe one trade a month might happen. I'm still not sure whether they would enable me to buy all of these stocks, or future ones that they might buy in Fundsmith. For instance, I'm pretty confident that most of them can be bought. Like obviously the London ones, obviously the US ones, they're definitely available. But I did not find Denmark listed in the that's the one I'm highlighting here. Didn't find that listed. There's another one as well actually. I don't know why it's... Oh yeah, there's two. Novo Nordisk and Coloplast. I'm not convinced I can buy these on Interactive Brokers, because Denmark was not in the list of kind of countries when I found that bit of their website. I did, however, find that Novo Nordisk... I've been looking at tents, look. I haven't been camping for decades, but for some reason I was looking at tents. How the internet spies on us. So, good job something more embarrassing didn't turn up there, isn't it? So there's that one, that's the Danish one, CPH, because you can see here the ticker. I'm using the tickers and then looking up, using Google Finance to look up the name just to check I've got the right one. CPH is obviously the Danish market. So it could be that by buying... Well, first of all, let's go to the one that Fundsmith owns. But there was other Novo Nordisks there, so they're obviously dual listings, or maybe even more. If I chart the NYQ one, I don't know what PNK is. Oh look, there's an LSE one as well. Let's just do the NYQ one, because if I did this, most of those stocks are in US dollars, aren't they? So the thing I would probably do is most of them cash would be in US dollars. So that it would make sense to, if this is the best option to go for, it would make sense to go for the US one. Oh no, but then there's that issue of the dividends being taxed though, isn't there? So maybe not, I don't know. If there's a London-based one, so look, it seems to track it pretty well. Oh, I don't know, there's quite a big gap there, isn't there? Where things seem to get out of sync. But if we move the start point to there, from 16, it's very similar. So I don't know, even if you can't buy Danish stocks, maybe I can go for this other listing. Let's see what that London one does. If it even is the same company, it could be, I don't know, who knows, it might be a bond or something from the company, couldn't it? It doesn't seem like it's showing on the graph. No, it's not showing on the graph, is it? So that could be anything, to be honest. So yeah, this is just initial thoughts. Lots of research and learning to do before I ever go for something like this. Yeah, this is the other thing I've learned, because I've gone on YouTube looking at how Interactive Brokers works, and it seems like when you sell something, you have to wait for it to settle before you buy something else. That's not how it is in my other brokers. In my other brokers, if you sell something, the cash won't settle for a couple of days. So if you wanted to withdraw the money from the broker, you'd have to wait for it to settle. But if you wanted to go straight back into something else, it doesn't mind. It'll just let you do that straight away, because you're not taking the funds away from the broker, so it lets you do it straight away. But yeah, it seems like Interactive Broker might, hopefully someone can correct me here, because I'd like it not to be true. It seems like you have to wait for the settling before you can buy your next thing. So if I want to rebalance something or buy the new stock that Fundsmith has bought, it's not going to be timed perfectly. There's going to be the market. It's introducing a bit of market timing, really, because you'll be out of the market for 2 days with whatever you sell and then buy. And because it's in an ISA, I can't just put new cash in and then take the cash out afterwards, like you would be able to do if it was a non-ISA, because obviously I'd reach my limit at some point of 16 grand a year, and then I won't be able to put more money in to then take it out a couple of days later once it's settled. That's not possible. Okay, and then some little worries about being able to do the actual replication. Some I've probably mentioned before. Yeah, you only get the Fundsmith trays once a new position is built or sold. Sometimes that could be a couple of months later. If they slowly build up a new position they could do it over a few months. I'd only find out a few months later, and who knows, by then the opportunity to jump into that stock might be gone. So I could be losing performance. The 0.95% fee, for all I know, could be made just by their timing of their entrance. But I mean, he does say no market timing, doesn't he, Terry Smith? So I don't know. And then they don't really tell you at all about sort of rebalancing. If they trimmed a bit of Microsoft and then put it into Google or something, they don't really tell you about that, other than when these fact sheets on Hargreaves Lansdown get updated and you see the new percentages. So I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows? That could be a good or a bad thing. Me just holding on forever and not doing any of that trimming and rebalancing might be better for me. Anyway, so there's just my little idea of what I was pondering. Not sure if I'll do it yet, or let me know what you think. What do you think I should go for something like this? I've got plenty of time on my hands, so it might be fun. I don't know. Alright. Oh, and of course it would boost my income. So if my income went from, well, in the first tranche, the first 16 grand would increase my income by 161. Well, no, I'd have to take away what I'm earning here. But just the first 16 grand of the 27, nearly 28 grand is earning a lot more than the 75 it's currently predicting for owning the fund itself. So I've boosted my income if I do that. Probably. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.